This is the Italian Real Estate Podcast, here to help you with the ins and outs and basics of Italian real estate, presented by ItalianRealEstateLawyers.com.
Hello there, and welcome to another edition of the Italian Real Estate Podcast, presented by ItalianRealEstateLawyers.com. Of course, we are back at it again with Italian attorney Marco Permonian. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I am doing great, thank you. And in this episode, we wanted to talk a little bit about the Italian post offices, especially for people who are going to be moving to Italy, purchasing property in Italy. There are going to be various tasks that you'll be able to take care of at the post office itself. I mean, even when you're going to be doing certain things with your visa, if you need a visa to be able to get here, there potentially are some things that you can take care of at the post office itself. But for whether it's mobile phone services, banking, insurance, there are a lot of different things that you can take care of at the post offices in Italy. But Marco, let's first start off with the banking that you can take care of at the post office. For somebody who's thinking about moving to Italy, can you tell them a little bit about maybe what they would be able to expect by opening up a bank account at the post office?
Like you just mentioned, it is possible to open a regular bank account at the post office. A lot of people in Italy choose to open their bank accounts at the post office rather than at traditional banks. And the bank account opened at the post office works exactly the same as the other bank accounts opened at any other banks. And furthermore, not only it's possible to open a checking account at the post office, but also a savings account, as well as it's possible to obtain credit and debit cards. So it is possible basically to use the post office as a regular bank, and you can deposit or withdraw cash. You can use the ATM, which is normally available outside of the post office. You can also obtain mortgages and loans. And finally, if you are a retiree, you can open a bank account at the post office to receive your pension, or you can get cash every month given to you by the post office if you prefer to not have your pension wired into a bank account or the postal bank account. And to be more precise, the post office is the only entity in Italy where you will be able to get cash for your pension. Instead of having the money wired into your account, you can get the cash, but only if you do so at the post office. And since I mentioned the debit card a moment ago, it's important to say that the PostePay, which is the debit card or prepaid card offered by the post office in Italy, is one of the most common prepaid or debit cards that people use in Italy, especially younger people. And like I just mentioned, the PostePay works as a prepaid card, so it's not even necessary to have a bank account at the post office or elsewhere in order to obtain a PostePay card. It is possible to refill the PostePay prepaid card at any Italian post office or tabaccerias, and it is possible to use it to withdraw money from any ATM or to purchase things online. So it really works as any other debit card or prepaid card that are issued by banks.
It's really interesting you mentioned about the PostePay, because I think it's actually one of the most popular options in the country for those who are looking for kind of quote unquote alternative banking, that you don't need a full-fledged bank account, but you need to be able to make certain purchases, because even if I'm not mistaken, you can actually have an IBAN, an international bank account number that's actually associated with that card, receive a salary, or even receive transfers from other people to be able to have that money available to you. And I mean, even I've had them in the past, a PostePay card, so that I could make online payments and not have to have it attached directly to my bank account, to have that extra level of security in between. And on a similar topic that has to do with money, finances, it has to do with paying bills. Can you tell us a little bit more about the system in place for paying bills at the post office in Italy?
The post office plays a fundamental role when it comes to the ability to pay bills. And actually, until a few years ago, the post offices or tabaccerias were the only places where you could pay your bills, like your utility bills or even tickets or fines related to traffic violations. So it really played like I said, a fundamental role. Now, more recently, it became possible to pay your utility bills online or through direct debit on your bank account, by credit or debit card. It's also possible now to pay fines and tickets related to traffic violations online through your debit card or credit card. But until recently, you had to use the Bolletino Postale, which was a piece of paper attached to the bill, to the utility bill, that you would use to go to the post office, and that you would manually fill out with the amount and just hand to the teller. And with your cash, you would pay your bills only at the post office, or, like I just said, tabaquerias.
It's interesting also about the Boletino that it's a system that seems to kind of expanded, like you were saying, beyond just having to only be able to pay it at the post office, but also regarding how you were talking about how it used to only be possible to pay these Bolletino Postale directly through the post office. I know some Italian bank accounts, you can actually now pay those bolletti directly through a bank. And so it's another option, but it's a system that still exists and it's still in place. And it's maybe an antiquated system, but it's kind of kept its way moving forward. But maybe going in a little bit of a different direction. Like I mentioned earlier, that the post offices in Italy can have a role when dealing with certain governmental agencies, maybe even for dealing with getting a permesso di soggiorno, and maybe even for other documents that they can act as the intermediaries for various things related to residency. So could you tell us a little bit about the role of the post office in Italy and how it relates to residency or even acting as an intermediary for various official processes?
As you just mentioned, the post office is becoming more and more like an intermediary between the citizens and the governmental offices. For example, for many years now, the post office has been the place where people go to obtain or renew their residency permits, meaning that the post office acts as an intermediary between the person who needs to obtain or renew their residency permit and the local immigration office. Now, it depends on whether in the province where you are located, the post office is allowed to be an intermediary, or if you still have to go directly to the questura, which is the local immigration office. But in those places where you can go to the post office, basically you would show up at the post office with your residency permit application, which is available at the post office itself, and you submit your request there, and the post office sends the documentation to the questura, and the post office itself will give you an appointment with the questura, where basically you will be interviewed, they will take your fingerprints, and they will do whatever is necessary to release or renew your residency permit. But more recently, the post office has also become the official intermediary in some areas. Again, that this is slowly happening in the whole country, but it hasn't really yet happened in the whole country. So you need to make sure that you understand whether in the province or in the area where you live, if the post office is already the official intermediary between you and the local questura. But like I was mentioning, the post office is the place where you now can also request your Italian passport. You can not only request the passport, but you can also renew your passport. So that has been done to simplify the process and to save time, because the post offices are more than the local immigration offices, so they can serve more easily a larger portion of the population. And the post office is also allowed now to take your fingerprints and to receive your old passport when it comes to renewing your passport. And they will again act as the intermediary and provide all of the documentation, including your old passport, your fingerprints, and photos that they can take at the post office to the local immigration office, which is called questura, which will be able to release your passport, and you will receive your passport directly at home because it's now sent to you by the local post office.
Very interesting. And you know what, moving off in a completely different direction that actually is going to be very relevant to potential homeowners in Italy or even car owners in Italy. And that is to do with purchasing insurance at the post office. Can you tell us a little bit more about that in Italy?
In the recent years, it became possible to obtain the insurance for your car directly from the post office through a company that was incorporated by the government, and that works in partnership with, again, the Italian Postal Service. Recently became possible to purchase your car insurance at the post office. Not only you can insure your car for damages or for theft, but the post office also offers your RCA, which is the general insurance that is mandatory in Italy for every single car. So if you drive a car, you need to have the RCA insurance, which is the insurance that protects other people from damages that you cause to them while driving your car. And now it's possible to purchase that insurance, which, like I said, is mandatory in Italy, directly at the post office. Not only the post office offers that insurance and the insurance against theft and damages to your car, but also the so-called casco, which is a type of insurance that protects your car from damages that you cause to your own car. Of course, it's quite expensive. The average driver tends not to have a casco, which normally is meant for new cars or expensive cars. Of course, anybody can purchase a casco insurance, depending on whether they want to risk damages to their own cars. Like I said, normally it doesn't make sense if you have an old car or a car that is not that expensive, but it's up to you. And now you can purchase a casco insurance also at the post office. And also, without going into too many details, I think it's important to state that recently the Italian Postal Service has started to offer also home insurance, travel insurance, and life insurance. So there's a lot of options for people that are looking for an insurance in Italy. The post office, it's probably the place where you want to start.
I have to say, it's sometimes truly amazing to me how many different things the post office even offers. I mean, even for example, just to name off quickly, they now also offer your energy, your electricity, and your gas that you can even get to your home. But beyond that, even the ability to get home phone, mobile phone service, and internet. I mean, they have gotten into just about everything. But Marco, can you tell us a little bit about like these internet and phone services that are available?
I have to say it's been quite a while that the post office has started to offer mobile plans. So for mobile phones, they were actually a few years ago the most competitive plans that you could find. And the reception was pretty good. Now it has improved even further in the recent years. And of course, now you have the option between other providers that also became fairly cheap in Italy. But the post office is still very competitive. So a lot of people use it for their mobile phones. And like you just said, the post office also offers internet for private homes. So if you're looking for an internet connection, you can also try to see if the post office offers good reception and competitive prices for your area.
Again, it really is amazing to me how many different options that you have available here. I mean, even some of the gas companies in Italy have started getting into the internet game as well. But again, going off in a different direction into something that can also be very relevant for those who are wanting to call Italy home is about the PEC, the certified email system that Italy has. So can you tell us a little bit more about the Italian post office and the PEC system?
The PEC system is a system that in Italy is used to send official communications to other entities or other individuals. It basically replaces the use of the traditional certified mail, and which of course is still existing. But if you want to send an email and make your communication official, then you should use a PEC system. Now, it looks like a traditional email address, but like I said, it's certified, and also the recipient has to have one in order for the communication to be official between the two. For example, if you are applying for Italian citizenship by descent, or if you are renewing your residency permit, if you need to notify the official Italian authorities that are working on your application, whether it's the local immigration office, meaning the questura, or the Italian municipality, you want to communicate with them via PEC. First of all, because they're going to receive your communication officially, so they're going to be more inclined to answer to you as opposed to you sending a regular email, which tend to be disregarded. But also, like I just said, your communication has official value. and their communication will have official value once they reply to you. Now, with regard to the post office, I think it's important to state that you can now, or recently became possible, to purchase a PEC through them directly. There are other providers, of course, but the post office is one of the most popular. So you can sign up for your PEC service, which you have to pay monthly or yearly in order to maintain it directly online on the website of the Italian Postal Service.
Well, Marco, this has been a very interesting episode, and I'm very happy that we could go over this because for individuals who are thinking about moving to Italy, I mean, it can in many ways be a one-stop shop for many things that you have to take care of. And especially if you're living in a smaller town, many small villages even will have a post office in their area. So it's great to be able to know how many different things that you can actually take care of. But for those who are thinking about purchasing property in Italy, moving to Italy, and one way or another making Italy their home, how can they get in contact with you and your team?
People can contact us through our website, italianrealestatelawyers.com, or give us a call. Our phone number is on our website.
Well, absolutely fantastic. And of course, if you're interested in more like this about purchasing property in Italy, life in Italy, and various details even about where to purchase property in Italy, be sure that you're subscribed to this YouTube channel as well as the audio-only podcast. But of course, if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, that means that you're also automatically subscribed to the Italian Citizenship Podcast, where we go into some of the nitty-gritty details about legally making Italy your home, whether it's by citizenship or through visas, whatever it may be. And if you're interested in more about life abroad and living abroad, be sure to check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/RafaelDiFuria, or you can search YouTube, Google, or your favorite podcasting platform of choice for Not Your Average Globetrotter. But of course, we have been here again with Italian attorney Marco Permunian from ItalianRealEstatelawyers.com. I'm Rafael Di Stay safe and healthy out there, and we will see you all next time. Later.
Thank you.